Next video in our series on skill roll has to do with the play field. I took it out of the cabinet and put it on the workbench to clean it up and work on it. It was difficult to get a video of that on the workbench because it was either face up or face down. It'd be tough to flip it around and shoot a continuous video. But what I did is I took the black screws out. There's about 25 of these. And then the plexiglass comes out. I did a magic eraser on the play field and then some Novus 2 and then waxed it. And I got most of all the dirt and the nickel trails out of it, and I didn't lose any artwork. Now when I re-waxed it, I made sure to wax all the yellow parts, and I also waxed the top of all of the level metal pieces. These metal pieces are painted black, so you might see some slight discoloration, and that's just from where the paint has flaked off. I didn't bother to go back and paint any of that. I think it looks fine as it is. So got it waxed, put it all back together. I like to put new rubber washers under all of these screws. The old ones are pretty much plastic at this age, but put new rubber washers under there so that hopefully the plexiglass doesn't break. This machine did come to me with a break right here. That doesn't bother me too much right now. I'm going to play it and see if it's a big enough issue to warrant a replacement. Because you can get a new reproduction plexiglass on eBay or off of Pinside, but for now I think I'm just going to live with that, and we'll see in time if I replace it or not. Then moving on to the back of the play field. Went through and cleaned up all of the playfield switches. So these can come out with these two black screws. And then the switch itself can come off of the bracket and arm assembly with two screws through the switch stack. Went through and made sure that all of these were clean. I recommend not putting a power tool to these leaf switches because they are extremely flexible, and if something goes wrong you could probably mangle those pretty good very quickly. So what I did is I just put some alcohol on a business card and rubbed it between there, and for all of these switches that was good enough, except for we had one switch that wasn't working after we did our initial tests. So for the most part, just business card and alcohol to take care of that. If you have a really stubborn switch, then I would escalate it to going to those more aggressive techniques like the magic brush. Also on this rotating arm, I took that out and lubricated those as necessary. But what provides this kind of snap and spring action is the actual leaf switch blade, the long one. So if you have a lever assembly that kind of starts off droopy, you'll need to adjust this long switch so that it pushes that lever all the way up by pushing this down. It also gives you a good snapping action, and then make sure that your leaf switches are making contact and then pushing past each other so that they keep each other clean. Other than that, on the back side, there's not a whole lot to do. On your connector to the back door, make sure that you clean up all those male Jones plugs, so hopefully you don't have any connection issues when you put it all back together. We mentioned the starter is an FS4 because it's a 13-watt lamp. When I had this on the bench, I just took the starter out because that's kind of the high point if you're resting this on its back. I also folded down the light panel to use kind of as a kickstand when I was working on it, so that the back of the playfield and all the switches weren't getting bent up and damaged when this was face up on the workbench. Now those black wires from the light assembly go to these little brackets, and I took those off as well when I was working on this and it was face down, because those again would be about the high point. Alright, the next video we'll talk about some of the issues that had to be fixed with this once it all went back together.